Welcome. This call to order of the City Commission meeting today, Tuesday, March 2nd, 2021 at 5:32 p.m. May I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Grant.
Present.
Vice Mayor Penserga.
I'm present.
Commissioner Katz.
Here.
Commissioner Hay.
Present.
Commissioner Ramos.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. John, may we have an introduction, please?
Yes, sir, Mayor. Hello and welcome. My name is John McNally, and I will assist the mayor and the elected officials with the GoToWebinar portion of today's meeting. Before we start, I'd like to review a few housekeeping items so the virtual audience members know how to participate. Your microphones have been muted to reduce background noise. There will be specific times during this meeting when audience members can participate. The first way is by typing your question into the question section at the bottom of the GoToWebinar interface. Those items will be read into the record by a meeting organizer at the appropriate time. The second way is by clicking on the raise hand icon indicating you wish to speak. A meeting organizer will announce the next speaker at the appropriate time and unmute their audio, at which time you should state your name and address for the record. Please minimize any sources of background noise and speak clearly into your microphone during your allotted time. I will now turn control over to Mayor Stephen Grant, who will be presiding over today's meeting.
Thank you, John. First, I'll ask everyone to rise for invocation by Pastor Patterson of Seacrest Presbyterian Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Let's lift up our hearts to God in prayer. Our Father in heaven, we want to thank you for our city, Boynton Beach. We pray that you would continue to bless this community and help us to build relationships and to care for one another. We thank you for our leaders, and tonight we especially lift up Mayor Grant and Vice Mayor Penserga and our city commissioners, Commissioner Katz, Commissioner Hay, and Commissioner Romulus. We thank you for the technology and for individuals like John McNally who are able to bring us together virtually in times like this. Would you give to each one of them, as well as to the entire staff of the city, great wisdom as they lead us in these difficult circumstances? Help them to be effective as they carry out their work and as we meet virtually rather than in person. Give to our first responders, the police and fire, safety as they carry out their work to protect and serve. We pray for our sister city, Delray Beach, as they have elections this coming week. May you guide and direct them. Father, it's been a little over a year now of this pandemic, and our county has seen nearly 121,000 cases of COVID and nearly 2,500 deaths. Our hearts ache for those who have lost lives and loved ones, who have lost jobs and opportunities. Would you provide for each of their needs and help us as a city and as individuals to be generous to those who are in need? Be with the businesses of our city as they try to carry out their work with the limitations that come because of the COVID protocols. And be with our schools and our teachers and our children as they do all they can to further their education. Keep them safe and provide the needed resources and skills for on-site and virtual learning. And Lord, we thank you for the churches of our community, and we ask that you will bless them as they seek to glorify God and to do the work that you have called them to do. Thank you for your steadfast love and your great faithfulness. We give you the praise and come to you in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yeah. Everyone, please be seated. Now we move on to agenda approval. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? Hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second. Thank you. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Informational items. By members of the City Commission. Commissioner Katz, would you like to begin?
Nothing to disclose at this time.
Commissioner Hay.
No real disclosures, except I did attend a luncheon that was given by the Zeta Phi Beta sorority. They gave lunch to our police department. I believe it was on Friday. And today I had the pleasure of attending the unveiling of the statue for the first responders. Thank you.
Commissioner Romulus, do you have anything to disclose?
Yes, Mayor, thank you. I was unable to attend the Healing Hearts event earlier today, but looks like it was a great event, and I just want to thank our first responders and our city for setting that mural up. I think it's very important. Secondly, I want to wish everybody a happy Women's History Month. Continue to give props and kudos to the women around you who are doing amazing things that are lifting up our country and our world each and every single day. And lastly, I want to invite each and every single person who is here, who's paying attention, to participate in the Let's Move Palm Beach County initiative that's happening this month. That is an initiative that encourages everybody to move for at least 30 minutes a day for every single day in March. I know that the city of Boynton Beach has its own team, so make sure you register and you log your minutes, whether it's walking or biking, not driving, that's not exercise, but anything that you're doing that's physical, that amounts to some type of increase in heart rate and gets you out of your chair and moving, log those activities, and we hope that Boynton Beach takes the crown this year. So far, I believe it's the city of Delray Beach that's leading. So we don't want to give them bragging rights. So let's get on this. Let's move, and I look forward to it. So thank you, Mayor. That's all I have.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Pensurga.
Thank you, Mayor. I have no disclosures for today.
As for myself, on February 18th, I attended the Transportation Planning Agency's meeting for Palm Beach County, and happy to inform the city that our Boynton Beach Complete Street that is, I believe, set for construction in 2024 is now including 3rd Street and Ocean Avenue as part of the Transportation Improvement Plan. On February 19th, I attended the CEFTEC meeting. That's the Southeast Florida Transportation Council with members from the MPOs of Palm Beach, Broward, and Miami-Dade. And I was discussing with them the importance of all of our 3 counties to work together in negotiating a commuter rail from Miami to Jupiter. In addition, next on February 22nd, I attended the South Florida Water Management District's Water Quality Goals Conference, and looking to partner with them to help better the quality of water in our canals. In addition, I attended the General Employees Public Pension meeting, and I'll inform the Commission that the current assets under management is over $200 million for our general employees after the wild ride of investment of 2020. That evening, I attended the Boynton Beach Historical Society's meeting, and one of the things that they mentioned was giving credit to the historical names in the city of Boynton Beach. Before the cities are numbered, a lot of them had names, and that is something that adds value to residential property. On this 24th, I attended the Transportation Disadvantaged Local Coordinating Board, also known as PalmTran Connection. And then this morning, I attended PalmTran's grand opening of their new headquarters in Delray, which was a sight to be seen, and I'm looking forward to PalmTran to expand the fares to accept, other forms of currency besides cash. And so they will be accepting credit cards, debit cards, magnetic cards, hopefully phones, and so that we will be better using the mass transit in Palm Beach County. Then afterwards, I attended the Healing Heart Sculpture unveiling, and would like to thank all of the different medical professionals there. We had people from JFK Medical Center, Bethesda East and West, and Delray Medical Trauma Center. And I had a meeting with the CEO of Bethesda, Nelson Lazo. In addition, I had conversations with Jeff Johnson and John Markey of JKM Developers. And that is all my disclosures. And Commissioner Ramos, you're correct. Happy Women's History Month. Let's see about doing a proclamation before the month's out.
Mayor, your
Yep.
proclamation for March 10th, what's that? I thought that satisfied that.
That is National Women and Girls HIV Awareness Day.
Got it.
So
Okay.
not the month, it's just a day.
Awesome. Let's make sure we do that. Thank you.
Mayor,
Yes.
can you elaborate a little bit on what the plans are for Ocean Avenue? You mentioned in your disclosures about we are included, and I think it was 13th Avenue also, and Ocean Avenue.
So the CRA has been working, and the city have been working with the Transportation Planning Agency and FDOT when the FDOT is reconstructing the interchange of Boynton Beach Boulevard and 95. The city is also going to be completing and starting construction of the complete streets of Boynton Beach Boulevard. In addition, the county is helping to fund more complete streets construction along Northeast 3rd Street and Ocean Avenue East. So basically where we're hoping to have the villages of Boynton and our new in the area east of the railroad track.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
All right. And seeing no more informational items by the members of the city commissions, our first announcement is the public arts manager, Glenn Weiss, to make an announcement regarding the 2021 biennial kinetic art exhibit on March 6th and 7th, 2021.
Glenn Weiss, this is John McNally. I've unmuted you, but you are self-muted.
Okay,
There
there
you
we
go.
go. Okay.
Perfect.
Do we have a visual or not tonight?
It is on its
Yes, we
way.
should. Yep.
Okay. Anyway, I want to thank you for hearing about for the kinetic exhibition. Sorry, let me start all over. Hi. First, I want to thank the mayor and Commissioner Hay for coming to the opening today of the Healing Heart. It was really great to have you there. And I think it's an important event for the city and a kind of kickoff to the kinetic art show this year. The kinetic, this is its 5th time that it's taken place, and this year it is quite an expansion as a result of so much help by every city department. I've only been here 8 weeks, and it's been an amazing, from the marketing department, from public works, from the city manager's office, from the cultural center, from the parks department. It's like everybody throws in to make this thing happen, because it is going to be quite an event to have the first significant event in the town square. And so we're both excited about that. And the events include both the 20 outdoor art sculptures and indoor artworks by 11 different artists from around the United States who make kinetic art. But that's also followed up with lots of fun family activities. There will be 7 food trucks. The Valerie Tyson Band will be playing both on Saturday and Sunday afternoons in the amphitheater. There will be a show of pinwheel art made by children here in Boynton Beach in the library. So as you can see, everyone has kind of made this into a special event. So I'm very, as a new employee of the city, it's it's really terrific to walk in and be part of this event myself. So thank you, and we look forward to having a lot of people out there, and hopefully those rain clouds will stay away on Saturday. So, any questions?
Mayor.
Yes, Commissioner Romulus.
I'm sure the due diligence has already been done, but we have hand sanitizing stations and disposable masks and things like that available for the public.
We have, yes, there are indoors, so outdoor, we're putting 10 more outdoor hand sanitizer stations. We will have actually cloth masks available for everyone. So for anyone that has it, and people have to wear the mask. We are, for the outdoor amphitheater, we're painting circles on the ground. You may have seen this in other outdoor activities, so that people, when they're gathering with their family or friends, they stay within the 10-foot circles and maintain a 6-foot distancing while enjoying the concert. So we are very concerned about the safety of everyone.
Perfect. Thank you for clarifying that. And I did mean cloth, not disposable. Cloth is much better.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Glenn.
Thank you.
Mayor?
Yep.
Eleanor just mentioned that we should encourage everybody to follow the art on social media.
Yes. So one of the, if somebody, I was at the Healing Heart exhibit, and there are QR codes to use that will send you to Instagram to help share the pictures of the artwork. And we encourage everyone to share the love and share the art and culture with their friends and family through social media.
And take pictures.
Next, we have Recreation and Parks Director Casey Young to make announcements recognizing the Magic Wheels and Special Deals event. Sponsor, Joe Dimaggio Children's Health Specialty Center, and all the volunteers from Chariots of Love that participate in building this year's Magic Wheels for 2-year-old Zoe and her family, and also the Realtors Association of Broward and Palm Beach County.
I don't see Casey Young in the list. Oh, that's why.
He's there.
I'd say he's in person.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Casey Young, Recreation and Parks Director. Thank you for this opportunity to recognize the volunteers, sponsors, vendors, and community partners who contributed to this year's Magic Wheels and Special Wheels event held on Saturday, February 13th at Barrier Free Park. This event was created to showcase vendors and resources who are dedicated to providing inclusion for individuals of all abilities and the unveiling of the custom wheelchair. This was the 6th Magic Wheels given to a local child with special needs, and this event would not be possible without the help of our amazing partners. If you are not familiar with our annual Magic Wheels and Special Deals event, here's a short video of last month's event. John, can you cue the video?
The Magic Wheels and Special Deals event helps the special needs community of Palm Beach County, and especially raises some money for the barrier-free park, and enhances the inclusion and diversity of our community, brings us all together in a special, fun way.
It's just such a good feeling to have the community to support us. You know, everyone knows this is very challenging raising a completely disabled child. I just want to thank everybody for their support. I couldn't do it without you guys, and I really, really appreciate it.
One of our goals is to always include inclusion and be a champion for inclusion and provide recreation opportunities for all abilities.
So we asked Anitra, what is something that Zoe likes? And she said she loves Minnie Mouse. So we took that idea, and I have a team of 5 volunteers that help me come up with ideas and build this fantasy for little Zoe.
Her grandmother is the nicest person. It feels wonderful to be able to support them, to let them know that the community's here for them. They don't have to feel like they're in this alone. You know, it's so great to help children and their families like Zoe. It means so much to so many of us. It's important that everybody feel included at the City of Boynton Beach in all we do in our Recreation Parks Department. That is our priority. Everyone deserves a day to play, a day to be with their friends, be outside in this beautiful sunshine, and just enjoy where they live. And we're just so grateful to be able to provide this for Zoe and her family today.
Mayor.
Continue.
Nope. We considered hosting a virtual event this year, but as you can see from the video, a virtual event would not have had the same effect as in person. For the second year, Joe Dimaggio Children's Health Specialty Center agreed to be our presenting sponsor. Their generous donation of $5,000 allowed us to enhance the event with the addition of the Moby mat for ADA accessibility, along with the LED screen to encourage social distancing. The Vice President of Regional Operations, Don Quaranta, is here tonight and would like to say a few words. She's here virtually.
Casey, I do not see her on the list.
Okay.
I can, let me, Dawn, if you are there, please raise your hand indicating you wish to speak. There should be a raise hand icon on the GoToWebinar interface if you're in attendance.
I see a Casey Reed has their hand raised.
Okay, perfect.
Casey?
Hi, it's Dawn. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Wonderful. I'm so sorry. This is my first time using this program. Thank you so much for having me tonight. And we just want to say how much we appreciate the opportunity to have participated in this wonderful event. It definitely goes along with our mission at the Joe Dimaggio Children's Hospital and the Specialty Center in Wellington. So we really just, we love these opportunities. We love what this event does for the community, and we will continue to provide as much support as we can in the future. So thank you so much for allowing us this opportunity.
John, Don does have a short presentation that's available.
Alan, can you cue that up?
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much again for having us. I wanted to just give you a few brief comments on who we are. I know we're newer to the Palm Beach community, and we do serve many of your residents in Boynton Beach. We see a lot of kids from your area come, and we provide services to them. So I have a few quick slides. I'll run through them quickly because I don't want to take much of your time. But we just wanted to provide an opportunity for you to get to know us a little bit and me to answer any questions. So if you could move to the next slide. So we are part of, you may have heard of the Memorial Healthcare System. It's a large public healthcare system, and we are a taxing district. Our board is appointed by the governor. So we are a governmental entity in a large public healthcare system. We have 6 hospitals, and the Joe Dimaggio Children's Hospital is our freestanding children's hospital. Next slide, please. So this is exciting. I wanted to show you this is what our new hospital in a year is going to look like. So the first bottom 4 floors are already there in existence and have been since 2011. We are in the process of building 4 additional floors on top to expand our hospital. We've grown into tertiary quaternary care type of hospital. And so in order to accommodate all the services that we have, we will now have this big, beautiful hospital in about a year. So hopefully you can make it down to visit us one day. Next slide, please. And our impact in the community. So one thing that we pride ourselves on is being the best community partner we can be. And you're going to see a slide at the end that shows our partnerships in the community, including our different partners with the city of Boynton and other cities. But this is our impact. So we're the only freestanding children's hospital in Broward. Our pediatric, cardiac, and orthopedic programs ranked in the top 50 in the nation for U.S. News and World Report, and our orthopedic program ranked 25th in the nation. We have the largest orthopedic program south of Georgia. And then we also, which is important to you, opened 2 years ago our outpatient center in Wellington, and we offer many specialties and services there for the kids in Palm Beach. And then the map on the left will show you all of our locations. So our hospital is basically our flagship location, but we have multiple satellite offices all around Broward County and Palm Beach. And the next slide. I'm going to go through these really quick. I just want to show you our impact. So we have over 375,000 patient encounters each year. We have over 600 nurses, over 200 volunteers from the community, and over 600 pediatric specialists. Next slide. Every year, more than half of all babies born in Broward are delivered at one of our hospitals. Next slide. And we have 3 emergency departments, and we see over 100,000 patient visits annually to those 3 emergency departments. Next slide, please. And then we have over 130,000 outpatient specialty visits, including telehealth each year. And to our Wellington facility in the last 2 years, we've seen almost 40,000 visits. Next slide. Over 9,000 admissions, almost 9,000 surgeries. We are only one of 2 pediatric heart transplant programs in the state, and we've done over 67 pediatric heart transplants. And we recently started our pediatric kidney transplant program, and we've also completed 11 pediatric kidney transplants. Next slide. And then finishing up here, I just wanted to mention our Joe Dimaggio Children's Health Specialty Center in Wellington. It's called the Frank Domino campus. We opened it about 2 years ago. We continue to grow our services there. You can see all the pediatric specialties that we provide there on the right side of the screen. We have therapy and rehabilitation services, occupational therapy, physical therapy, sports medicine. We also have imaging services, and we have a surgery center there. And we treat kids ages 0 up to 18. Sometimes our programs, depending on what health issue a child may have, will follow the patient a little bit into their adulthood. So we are providing lots of services at that center for all of Palm Beach County, and we have 2 additional locations in Boca Raton as well. Next slide. And this is my last slide. So again, we appreciate any opportunities that you have for us to be a partner with you, for us to be involved in the community. This is our impact in the community. These are our nonprofit disease-specific organizations that we partner with. These are our youth organizations and sports organizations. We're involved with the schools and the athletic programs, and then our business organizations that we're involved in. So we're very active in the community. We want to do what we can to support everyone out there doing great things and be a partner. And I just hope that you'll continue to let us know how we can help you. And I really do thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much, Don.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Casey, for your continued support of the Magic Wheels and Special Wheels event.
Thank you.
I also would like to recognize and thank the Broward, Palm Beaches, and St. Lucie Realtors Association, who have continued to support improvements of barrier-free park and our mission for inclusion. Their commitment is greatly appreciated. I have Karen Johnson, president of the Realtors Association, here with us tonight and she would like to say a few words on behalf of the Realtors Association.
Thank you. Good afternoon, and thank you for allowing us to attend and speak during your meeting. My name is Karen Johnson. I'm president of Broward Palm Beaches and St. Lucie Realtors. On behalf of our association and our 35,000 members we represent, we are grateful for the long-standing and valuable partnership between our organization and the city of Boynton Beach. We've had great success collaborating through the years, and we look forward to continuing growing our relationships and mutual values. It's no secret that 2020 was a game-changer year in more ways than just one, but I'm proud to say Realtors and the association has remained nimble and vigilant. We have pivoted and supported our members and in turn, consumers who are buying and selling in our market, even in the most challenging of times. We always like to say that Realtors don't just sell homes, we build communities. I just wanted to give you guys some market stats so you know where we are. Looking at the market stats provided by our board, Palm Beach County on a whole closed out 2020 with 18,174 closed sales of single-family homes, which is 4% higher than 2019, and 5,700 of those were cash transaction. The median prices of single-family rose from $389 to $389, which is a 10% increase over 2019. However, the name of the game right now is inventory, which I'm sure you're all hearing about. When we saw the buyer frenzy in 2020 coming from the north due to the pandemic, our inventory has dropped to 42% over from 2019. We applaud Boynton Beach and the tremendous progress that it has been made in redesigning the cityscapes, as well as new construction and new development that attract buyers to the area. Townhomes, however, has not kept up with single-family homes. Median sales of townhomes right now is 205, which is a 12.6% increase over 2019. For now, a closer look at Boynton Beach market. According to the most recent data provided by our board, January closed sales for single-family homes has surpassed that of January 2020 by nearly 25%, closing the month at 166 sales. The median sales price has also increased by 21% over the previous January and is at $382,000 for a single-family home in Boynton Beach. You can really see that it's a place that families are flocking to because of the comparison, and condos similarly, but not sustaining as much as single-family homes. Ultimately, I hope you agree that the future certainly looks bright for Boynton Beach, and according to the market stats, we can see a lot of growth in the future. I mentioned earlier 2020 was an unprecedented year, and it brought to light concerns across our nation with respect to rights of people. So in 2021, myself and my entire leadership staff and Broward, Palm Beaches, and St. Lucie's Realtors have pledged ourselves to a new program aimed at preserving and protecting housing rights for the consumer under the Fair Housing Act. We are launching a multi-pronged campaign with education resources and marketing power aimed at creating awareness and better educating our realtor members for the R4E, Realtors for Equality program, which unites and shows the public how genuinely dedicated realtors are to homeownership and the American dream, because we are one. It has been my pleasure to speak to you all today. Thank you for your time and the opportunity, and we look forward to continue working and maintaining our wonderful relationship.
Thank you so much.
And finally, I would like to recognize our team of volunteers who contributed their time and talent to create this year's Minnie Mouse train that was given to Zoe. I have Valerie Matthew from Chariots of Love, who would like to say a few words on behalf of all our volunteers. John, can you cue the presentation?
Thank you, Casey. I'm Valerie Matthew. I'm the president and founder of Chariots of Love, and we provide free wheelchairs for any mobility challenged child in the United States. And it's been our privilege and honor to be selected for the second year, and now again for the third year for next year, to find the candidate and create a fantasy of their dreams and bring it to life with our own hands. So having this team of volunteers, my number one volunteer, Jeff Cohen of Little Wolf Carpentry. He was helping, very instrumental in the design. He actually picked the train concept when we learned of little Zoe's Minnie Mouse fantasy. So he picked the train concept and we built on that. And I also have Ron, who goes by Huggy Huggins, as another volunteer. And unfortunately, we lost my fourth volunteer, Art Ladden, who passed away 4 days before the presentation from COVID. And we remember him through this presentation and did it in his honor. And we will miss him greatly for next year's build. But it was a privilege to be affiliated with a program sponsored by the Joe Dimaggio's Children's Hospital, since that's so near and dear to our heart of helping children with disabilities in our communities. Many of our candidates of Chariots of Love are patients with Joe Dimaggio Children's Hospital, and I actually have 2 candidates that are in hospital care with them at this time. So they care for our children. We try to bring joy to their life. Chariots of Love tries to assist them with mobility needs, get them into schools, get them back into their community and achieving their dreams. So being involved in this program is a wonderful, wonderful thing for us. And we're very happy to be involved. And we can't wait to find the candidate and build their dreams for next year. It'll really be something special. Thank you so much, Jeff and Huggy, for being here with me tonight.
Just to recognize Valerie, the planning phases for this event, it takes a lot of time and effort to put together, coming up with finding a candidate for the special wheels and planning the event and going through the theme. So Valerie, we appreciate your dedication to this event and all the volunteers for all your help for making the Magic Wheels, the event, what it is. At this time, I would like to present plaques to show our appreciation from the City of Boynton Beach Recreation and Parks Department for the volunteers of the Magic Wheels and Special Wheels special event and all of the time and effort that goes into making this fantasy, as you mentioned, come true for our candidate that is selected each year. At this time, I would like to present a plaque to each volunteer for Valerie Matthew.
Thank you very much.
For Jeff Cohen. In recognition for Ronald Huggins. And also to recognize Arthur Ladden, Artie, who has passed away.
His wife.
We'll present it to the group as well. And before ending, I just also want to recognize all of the Recreation and Parks Department staff, especially Stephanie Soplop, who was very instrumental in putting together this event. She did a great job. We kept in mind social distancing and all the CDC guidelines that had to go into effect due to COVID to make sure that we created the safest environment possible to host this event for all the attendees. So again, I just wanted to thank Stephanie and the rest of the staff that were there during the event and pitched in. It was really a complete department effort to do this event. If there aren't any questions, that's it. Thank you. I appreciate the time.
Mayor,
Yes, Commissioner Romulus.
I wanted to comment earlier, but I guess it wasn't the right time. I just wanted to say it's times like these that I'm actually glad that I'm off camera, because that video had me nearly in tears. It was so beautiful. So just, a special thank you to staff and each and every single person, all those organizations who make this happen, who make these magical moments for these families. Having been a nurse for nearly a decade, I took care of a lot of these patients, and some of them I've known personally that we've given these magic wheelchairs to. So this is not taken lightly by these families, by the nurses who care for them. This is a big deal. So just want to continue to commend our Parks and Recreation staff for the work that they do to change these families' lives, and our supporters who continue to donate to make this possible every single year. Thank you.
Next, we will have a proclaim March 10th, 2021 as National Women and Girls HIV Awareness Day. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas the Office on Women's Health was established in 1991 with the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. OWH coordinates women's health efforts across the Department of Health and Human Services and addresses critical women's health issues by informing and advancing policies, educating healthcare professionals and consumers, and supporting innovative programs. And whereas National Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, sponsored by the Office on Women's Health, is observed every year on March 10th. And whereas every year on March 10th and throughout the month of March, local, state, tribal, federal, and national organizations come together to shed light on the impact of HIV on women and girls and show support for those at risk and living with HIV. This year marks the 17th annual observance of National Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. And whereas HIV remains an epidemic in the United States and in countries around the world, while great progress has been made in preventing and treating HIV, there is still much to do. An estimated 1.2 million people in the United States are living with HIV, and of those individuals, about 1 in 7 do not know they had HIV. And whereas in Palm Beach County, more than 8,200 persons are living with HIV, and about 1 new infection occurs every day, and the Palm Beach County HIV Community Prevention Partnership and the Palm Beach County HIV Care Council, through its partners, are working together to renew HIV/AIDS awareness and to expand and strengthen the local efforts to stop the spread of HIV in Palm Beach County on National Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. And whereas in 2019, the Health and Human Services launched Ending the HIV Epidemic, a Plan for America. The initiative aims to reduce new HIV infections in the U.S. by 90% by 2030, something that can't be done unless work is done by, with, and for women. Outlining these steps to 1, diagnose all people with HIV as early as possible, 2, treat people with HIV rapidly and effectively to reach sustained viral suppression, 3, prevent new HIV transmissions by using proven interventions, including pre-exposure prophylaxis and syringe service programs, and 4, respond quickly to potential HIV outbreaks to get needed prevention and treatment services to people who need them. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the 10th of March, 2021 as National Women's and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Day, and urge all residents of the City of Boynton Beach to take the HIV test, to know your status, and to take part in the other activities and observances designed to increase awareness and understanding of HIV. Our next proclamation is to support the statement from the Mayors United Against Anti-Semitism, an initiative of the American Jewish Committee and the U.S. Conference of Mayors, and authorize the mayor to electronically sign the statement on behalf of the city. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas 5 years ago, U.S. mayors from all 50 states issued a call to action to combat anti-Semitism in Europe. Not alone in their concern, mayors from across Europe joined in the fight and signed the pledge. And whereas vicious attacks on American soil have demonstrated that anti-Semitism must be confronted with the same urgency in the United States. In October 2018, 11 Jews were killed in the deadliest attack against the Jewish community in U.S. history at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Jews have also been murdered in Poway, California, Jersey City, New Jersey, and Montsey, New York, simply for being Jews. We witnessed chants of "Jews will not replace us" in Charlottesville, Virginia, and Camp Auschwitz, and other anti-Semitic messages displayed during the assault on the U.S. Capitol. And whereas according to the FBI 2019 hate crime statistics, American Jews, who make up less than 2% of the American population, were the victims of 60.2% of anti-religious hate crimes. And whereas in a world of global communication where anti-Semitic ideas spread rapidly, a concerted and principled response is required to raise awareness, to educate, and to ensure decency prevails. As mayors and municipal leaders, we have unique responsibility to speak out against the growing menace of anti-Semitism. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, hereby proclaim we gather again as leaders of cities and communities to jointly say enough. And I'd like to thank Commissioner Romulus for bringing this to our attention. I will be signing the pledge electronically with the U.S. Conference of Mayors. And, you know, it means a lot to me that Commissioner Romulus with the Haitian American background to bring this forward, because one of the aspects of our history is that we need to work together and embrace diversity and equity. And so I really want to applaud you, Commissioner Romulus, for bringing this forward.
Mayor, it is an absolute pleasure. And just to bring in a little bit of history into this as well, the Haitian community and the Jewish community have always been allies, whether you know, people remember or understand that or not. Back in the time during World War II, when Jews were being going through the Holocaust, unfortunately, what the country of Haiti did was they allowed for individuals to be able to get visas to come and to live and escape from those atrocities happening, and to come to live in Haiti. And so this is why we have a large community of different nationalities in Haiti as well, who are of Jewish descent, who came from countries that were being affected during the Holocaust. So this isn't just, you know, because it was a request. It was also because it's personal. I definitely have an affinity towards, you know, always supporting causes to improve and better other individuals' lives. And this was just one more way to continue that mission. So thank you for reading the proclamation and for signing the agreement.
My pleasure. And our next proclamation is of month of March as Florida Bicycle Month. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas Boynton Beach residents and visitors engage in bicycling as a viable and environmentally sound form of transportation and an excellent form of physical activity and recreation. And whereas the state of Florida and the Florida Bicycling Association recognizes March officially as Bicycle Month, and Palm Beach County will recognize it locally. And whereas Florida Bicycle Month features a number of fitness opportunities and events for riders of all ages to enjoy throughout the month at various parks and locations throughout Palm Beach County. And whereas the recognition of Florida Bicycle Month will raise awareness of bicycling and ultimately promote physical activity and healthy lifestyles by elevating bicycling as a more widely accepted choice of transportation. Whereas the Palm Beach Transportation Planning Agency plans and recommends projects to make bicycling more accessible and promotes comprehensive community education efforts aimed at improving bicycle safety. And whereas through these efforts, Palm Beach County now has over 200 miles of designated bicycle facilities, with more than 600 miles of additional bicycle facilities planned, and will continue to promote a connected network of improved bicycle level of service. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, hereby proclaim the month of March 2021 as Florida Bicycle Month. And I believe we have our Building Department Director, Mike Rumpf, to accept the proclamation. Is that correct?
Mike Rumpf, this is John McNally. I've unmuted your microphone. Mike Rumpf, are you available to say a few words?
All right.
Okay, I tried.
No worries. And so I'd like to, one of the bicycle lanes that we have that is called buffered is on our federal highway, close to Gateway. And what I've been working on at the Transportation Planning Agency is what's called shared use paths. We have many east-west roads and north-south roads where the speed limit is more than 40 miles per hour. And there is only a 10% chance of surviving a crash with a vehicle going 40 miles per hour or more. And so that is why working with the county and the Florida Department of Transportation to expand the shared use paths, which creates a protected lane for bicyclists and putting them on the road, on the sidewalk with pedestrians, is a way to save lives. And I think this is something that hopefully our land development regulations can start to enact. And when we're building our complete streets, we have that sort of mentality to make sure that we are protecting the people who are riding their bikes as they go through our city. And in addition, I've heard that we have Anitra Jones that would also like to speak. And so I've unmuted you, Ms. Jones, if you'd like to unmute yourself and provide us with your comments.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Yes, we can.
I'm so sorry, I'm new to technology. I just want to thank everyone so much on Zoe's behalf. I'm Zoe's grandma. You guys have no idea how much this event meant to us. Just a little background on Zoe. She has spastic quadriplegia cerebral palsy caused by brain damage. She's completely dependent on others just for daily survival. She doesn't walk, talk, sit, stand. She's nonverbal. She doesn't do anything on her own. And when Miss Valerie reached out to us and selected Zoe for Magic Realtors 21, sorry, I'm nervous. We was extremely ecstatic. You guys don't know the joy that comes upon her face when we walk inside our living room because the Magic Wheelchair is there. And her whole face just lights up as she gestures that she want to get out of my arm instead of her Magic Wheelchair. And I just want to tell everybody, including the city of Boynton Beach, Miss Stephanie, Cherish the Love, Miss Valerie, you guys would never know how much this means to us. And it's been ongoing ever since that event. They continue to reach out and make that sure that Zoe is okay. I just want to say thank you guys.
Well, it's our pleasure. And if we have no further announcements, we will move on to public audience. Individual speakers will be limited to 3-minute presentations. If you are virtual, please raise your hand or you may ask a question. And I do believe we have people in the audience that would also like to present. And they can go first.
Good evening. Thank you for your time.
Oh, and please state your name and address for the record before you begin.
Okay. Amy Smith. I work for the owners at 1315 North Federal Highway. It is a 2-story office building, medical on the bottom and office on top. I sent Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners a very long, detailed, probably boring email on February 16th about our parking. So the owners of that building bought the building for the purpose of opening their headquarters on the 2nd floor, and actually worked with the CRA to do back in 2017 to do some remodeling and did the whole 2nd floor for their office. And then since then, downstairs, longtime medical office, very busy. So we have 13 full-time employees upstairs and then 5 full-time employees at the medical office, plus obviously patients and customers. Recently, the city of Boynton Beach did a beautiful job on Federal Highway with the bike lanes and all the resurfacing. And after that happened, there was some on-street parking that is now 2-hour enforced parking. So when our employees leave to go for lunch, or if they get there late in the morning, they have nowhere to park. We were using that on-street parking. The actual building only has 15 regular spots and 2 handicap spots. So we have 17 total employees in that building and only 15 places for them to park without customers and patients. So the employees have been coming back from lunch, having nowhere to park, parking fairly far down the street. And Mayor Grant actually also suggested that we could maybe speak to the church next door. And we have, but that parking lot is about 2.5-minute walk. And we leave in the evening. That lot is very empty and backs up to the train tracks and isn't really safe for our staff. Our staff doesn't feel safe parking there. So we had proposed potentially that we could change the 2-hour parking to 2-hour parking outside of normal business hours, like 8:30 to 5, so their staff have somewhere to park and the patients and customers, or that the workers in the building could have some kind of sticker delineating that they work in that building so that they could park on the street and be able to continue to work. And we're open to any other suggestions. We're just really having a hard time because we don't have enough parking now in that building to accommodate both the doctor's office and us upstairs now that the parking has become 2-hour during the day.
So thank you, Amy, for coming here and letting us know the issues that you have. And so the question that I have to staff is that what is something that we can do, or are we trying to tell the people that are going to doctor's office to park on the street? Because there's not enough parking at that location on Federal Highway. And if we can expand the hours to only 2 hours after 6 o'clock or something in that sort of mindset, are those possibilities for our city?
While waiting, I just actually asked Mike, I'm not aware that if we set those limitations versus DOT, that was the DOT project. So let us certainly look into that and see if there's something we can do to help there. If we have, did I hear the address correctly? 1315 North Federal Highway?
That's correct.
Okay. I'm awaiting right now. I don't have an immediate answer, but we'll certainly take a look at it and find out who put the limited parking in, and if something can be addressed.
We'd really appreciate it. We have a really great team upstairs, and the doctor's office downstairs is really busy, and we just want to be able to have everybody come to work and be able to have a place to park. This is a brand new kind of challenge for us. So any help you could come up with, that would be great.
And we'll, perhaps before you leave, Ms. Smith, if you want to write down your contact information, I don't expect you to say it over the virtual meeting, but I can have the development department reach out to you tomorrow. You want to leave it with the mayor? Or
I sent a fairly lengthy email with all the information, pictures, my contact information, and the owner's contact information on February 6th.
Can you forward that to me? Because I don't believe you sent that to me. I don't recall seeing that. So yeah, if you, or one of the commissioners, if you would just be so kind to forward that for me, I'd be happy to certainly take a look at it.
Okay, I'll forward that to you.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
All right. All right. And is there anyone else from the public that would like to speak? All right, seeing none, I will see if there's any hand raised. I see that Jeannie Heveland has her hand raised. I'm unmuting your microphone. You're currently self-muted.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. I'm Jeannie Heveland, 734 Northeast 9th Avenue. I'm the current president of Sister Cities, Boynton Beach Sister Cities, and it's been a while since I've been before you. I was delighted to hear you talk about diversity in our community. A couple meetings ago, I listened in and you were talking about the need to foster greater understanding and cooperation within our community. And that's what Sister Cities is all about. So we'd like to partner more closely with members of our community to work on programs to achieve greater diversity. We currently have 4 sister cities, 1 in Chufu, China, Lakai, Haiti, Rama, Finland, and Ferendala, Italy. But one of the ways right now we like to promote diversity and understanding is through our youth. They're growing up in a global community, and if our youth do well, our community will do well. So one of the ways we do this is by sponsoring an annual Young Artists and Author Showcase. This will be our 17th year. It's an event sponsored by Sister Cities International to get you thinking about global issues and concerns. This year, the theme is United in Hope. So it gives our youth a chance to forget about 2020, which we'd all like to do, and think ahead about what can be accomplished by working together. They express the theme United in Hope through art, poetry, essays, and music. Any student 13 to 18 years old who lives in the city or attends school in the city, and we define the city as Greater Boynton Beach, not city limits, is welcome to participate. So I ask you this evening to encourage any high school students you know to participate. If you'd like to be part of it or help us at Sister Cities put this on, you can contact me. All the information is on our website, boyntonsistercities.org, and I believe Eleanor has it on the city website as well. Another big part of Sister Cities is building individual relationships with our sister cities. We haven't been able to do that in 2020 since there's been no travel, but we are having a virtual get-together with our new friends in Farindola, Italy. We will be doing that on March 21st at 1 o'clock our time, which will be, I think, 9 o'clock their time or 8 o'clock their time. I'm not sure of the time difference. But you're welcome to join. We will put that up on our website. I will get the information to Eleanor. This is a great way for the two cities to connect without being able to travel. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, thank you for an opportunity to bring you up to date on our sister cities.
Thank you, Jeannie. And one of my questions is that if we could get that information out to people who are coming to our International Kinetic Art Fair of the exhibition, that the high school and middle school students can make art for. And they expanded the categories from just artists and authors to now musicians.
Right,
So,
and that's exciting, yeah.
And so it is the ability to do an original piece or a remix of someone else's piece, giving them credit as well. And there are cash prizes to the winners. I believe Rodolfo won the $1,000 grand prize back in 2017.
I'll try to get something together inexpensively, some kind of a handout for this weekend. And who would I get it to? If I dropped it off at City Hall, would that be okay?
If you could drop it off on Friday, that'd be perfect. Or by Friday, that'd be perfect.
Okay, I'll see what I can do. Thanks.
Thank you. And so I'll ask everyone virtually is that if you'd like to ask a question or have a comment, now would be the time. And not saying anything more. Public comments is now closed. Moving on to administrative. And can you bring up that? Can you bring up the administrative appoint individual members? No? No one from the back office?
Are you asking for the agenda, Mayor Graham?
Well, there's the attachment, the rotation and appointments. So yes, I was asking for someone to bring that up.
Okay. Alan, do you have the ability to bring up the Novus agenda in the board view with the attachments for the mayor, please?
Hi, this is Alan. It may take a moment or two because I don't really have a monitor to work with, so nearby. So if that's okay, I'll get it up there within a minute or so.
No worries,
Mayor.
Alan.
It's in the attachments, correct? Yes.
No, I've been able to pull it up. So first we have one alternate position available on the Art Advisory Board, Ellen Jones with Commissioner Katz making the nomination.
So moved.
Second.
All right, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. We have 2 regular and 2 alternate positions available for the Building Board of Adjustments and Appeals. We have 1 position available for the Community Redevelopment Agency Advisory Board with 2 applicants, Naomi Cobb and Joe Josemont.
Mayor, I'd like to nominate Naomi Cobb.
All right. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second.
All right, we have a first and second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes unanimously. We have 2 regular positions on the Employee Pension Board with 1 applicant, Kathy McDevitt. Commissioner Katz, would you like to make the nomination?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. And then we have 1 alternate, 1 regular position on the Historic Resources Preservation Board. Moving on to the consent agenda. Does anyone have an item that they would like to pull?
Mayor, I'd like to pull item E.
Yes. All right. So there's approve the 1-year extension for RFP bids and piggyback for the procurement of service or commodities under 100,000. Is there any particular one that you would like to discuss?
Yes, I just had the question about the Zambelli fireworks and just trying to get an update from staff on where we are with that. I believe I just wanted to get an update on what that expense is exactly and what our plans were for this year, as I know we changed things slightly last year because of COVID.
I'm going to ask if Mara has access to it. I don't have access to the actual backup. I'm on the single monitor, but Eleanor and I were just talking about 4th of July, and I think we are going to make every effort to have some sort of a fireworks event. But we haven't really made a solid decision on that and want to bring a recommendation toward to the commission, but we certainly want to try to pull something off. We don't want to have to cancel again a second year.
Mayor, this is Eleanor Crusoe.
There she is.
This is an extension of an existing contract. With the first contract that we did, it was had the initial statement in it that we could go ahead and renew it for a 1-year term if we were happy with their services prior. So that is what this is, to allow us to view what we can and can not do in the next 6 months for 4th of July. So Commissioner Romulus, I don't have any plans at this moment. As soon as Kinetic's over, we're going to get the events team together and come up with some options to present to the commission.
Can you refresh my memory? What did we do last year?
Last year, we did not have the 4th of July. The year before, we had it at the Intercoastal, and we had utilized the same amount of money we intend to use in the contract that you have in front of you tonight.
So I just trying to make sure I remember. So last year when we canceled the event, they allowed us to just roll over the funds into this year?
No, those funds actually will expire in this budget year. These is just a contract. I will be budgeting it in the future year. So the dollar allocations that were budgeted for that fireworks was utilized for Centennial, for 4th of July around the 4th of July for smaller events. There is existing money in there that was not utilized for fireworks.
Okay, no, I just wanted to clarify that we didn't lose those funds and we were able to do something else with them. That's what I was asking clarification on.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Commissioner Ramos, would you like to make a motion to approve?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second. Second.
Thank you. Seeing any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
All right. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
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 All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Moving on to consent bids and purchases over 100,000. Approve the 1 year. Would anyone like to pull any of the items? I'd like to pull item C, which is approve an increase to the annual expenditure for additional services associated with the landscape maintenance service contracts for the medians and right-of-ways. My quick question is that, what are we doing to make sure that the irrigation and everything is working properly and that we are maintaining the medians, that our vendor is maintaining the landscape properly at the medians and right-of-ways?
I can speak to that, Mayor. Andrew Mack, Interim Assistant City Manager.
Yes.
Yeah, so our contract, they're responsible for it. We do have a project manager that goes out daily and looks at the project and works on it. We do have quite a bit of irrigation that needs repair in the medians, especially on Federal Highway. They're actually working on that at this moment, working to correct those. The additional funding here was mostly goes to when we have car accidents. We've seen quite a few accidents where they've taken out landscaping and trees in the medians, and we use this money to remove and replace. So that's what this funding, and that's what the increase is for.
Thank you. So may I have a motion to approve?
So move.
Second.
Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. May I have a motion to approve the remainder of the consent agenda?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Moving forward to public hearing, the City Commission will conduct these public hearings in its dual capacity as local planning agency and City Commission. Jim, for item 8A, we have two ordinances, 21-005 and 21-006.
Thank you, Mayor. 005, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Ordinance 8938 by amending the future land use element of the comprehensive plan for property commonly known as Lawrence Road 71st Avenue South and described herein, changing the land use designation for medium density residential to low density residential, providing for conflict severability and an effective date. 21006, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Ordinance 02013 to rezone a parcel of land described herein and commonly referred to as Lawrence Road 71st Avenue South from PUD planned unit development to R1A single family residential, providing for conflict severability and an effective date.
And I see that this is city initiated. So who is the property owner and why are we doing this?
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Ed Brees, Planning and Zoning Administrator. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Great. John and Alan, could you bring up the PowerPoint? The city has initiated this. There are 6 property owners along the north side of 71st Avenue South. This project was originally approved actually annexed and approved for a land use rezoning and a site plan for 90 townhomes back in 2006. That project never came to fruition, as about the time it was approved, the housing market took a downturn. The property has remained with the PUD zoning district on it with an expired master plan, and staff is looking to rezone this to a single family consistent with the property immediately to the south of it. As we have gotten several concerns from the residents along there, as well as potential purchasers about the non-conforming status of the properties and how they are all linked together as a PUD, making it more difficult for them to either develop or redevelop individual lots. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have at this point.
And so basically the property owners are looking to develop higher end single family homes instead of more densely townhomes or
right. If I may, I think the simplest way to put it is a developer put all the properties under contract back in 2006 and was going to do a large townhouse development across all of the properties. When that did not come to fruition, the project expired, we were left with, again, 6 individual property owners with an expired plan and nothing they could do at that point in time. So we have individual property owners who may be interested either doing a large addition onto their house. There is a vacant lot that may wish to develop that lot itself. And some of those lots are large and they may wish to subdivide and do a few single family homes. So staff is trying to facilitate their ability to do so.
And so there's no applicant currently that is in the works to do this. The reason why we normally let the developers do this is because we don't know what we're going to get once we go back to the single family homes. And that's kind of where we, certain aspects where the city wants it to move forward. For example, the Boynton Beach Mall property, I can understand that.
Mm-hmm.
But without knowing what's going to happen to these individuals' properties, I'm not necessarily in favor of it because we don't know what's going to happen once we change the zoning to single family residential.
Yeah, I think the simplest way I can put it is it's been 15 years. No developer has come in and proposed another development for the entire group of properties. Again, these properties are all individually owned again. They're not under contract to one particular developer. And there may be certain property owners within this street who have no interest in being part of this. Again, they may not want to tie their property up. There may be new owners of property since the time that was approved, again, who want no interest in this. Like I said, we have gotten numerous contacts from the various property owners about their desire to be able to develop their properties individually, as opposed to holding out for a developer to come in and somehow tie up all 6 properties once again.
All right. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any further questions from the City Commission? And now let's open it up to public comments. Anyone have any questions for the public comments as well? I'm not seeing any. So may I have a motion to approve ordinance number 21-005?
So move.
I believe we got a second from Commissioner Hay.
Yes.
And so may I have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Pensurga,
Yes.
Commissioner Katz,
Yes.
Commissioner Hay,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos,
Aye.
Mayor Grant.
Yes.
The vote's 5-0.
May I have a motion on ordinance number 21-006?
So move.
Second.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion, anyone from public comments? Seeing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Commissioner Katz,
Yes.
Commissioner Hay,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos,
Aye.
Mayor Grant,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pensurga.
Yes.
The vote's 5-0.
All right, thank you. Next, Jim, we have ordinance number 21-007 and 21-008.
Thank you, Mayor. 007, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Ordinance 8938 by amending the future land use element of the comprehensive plan for property commonly known as Knuth Road and described herein, changing the land use designation from local retail commercial to mixed use flow, providing for conflict severability and an effective date. Ordinance 21008, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending Ordinance 02013 to rezone a parcel of land described herein and commonly referred to as Knuth Road from PCD planned commercial development to SMU suburban mixed use, providing for conflict severability and an effective date.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes, you may.
Again, the city is initiating this land use and rezoning as well to help facilitate the ultimate development of the 12.52 acre parcel. John or Alan, can you bring the PowerPoint up?
Hi, this is Alan. Ed, the PowerPoint presentation is currently being displayed in the chambers from the presentation laptop. I'm thinking you should be able to see it.
It just says Lawrence Road. It's
Yeah,
not,
and your
the second
GoToWebinar
one.
experience there, you should be able to see it, I'm hoping.
I'm not able to see it.
Alan, Darian needs to switch the commission meeting view to the PowerPoint presentation. There we go.
Thank you very much. Can we move to the next slide?
Next slide.
Okay, we need to move to Knuth Road. This was the presentation for the Lawrence Road one.
Is it part of the same PowerPoint
Yes, it's part.
presentation?
Yes, it is. Thank you. There we are. If you could move to the very next slide. Thank you very much. The aerial that's on the screen right now depicts the site at West Boynton Beach Boulevard and Knuth Road. There is a gas station on the corner. Retail and office uses are to the north and northeast of the parcel. To the southeast is a single family development known as Stonehaven. And to the west and south is the Quail Ridge Country Club. Next slide, please. And what the staff is suggesting, the current future land use classification is local retail commercial, and the proposed classification is SMU, suburban mixed use. In 1990, the property was annexed into the city and approved with a land use and zoning change along with a master plan for 120,000 square feet of commercial shopping center. In 1996, the plan was modified to replace what was a proposed restaurant on the corner to a gas station and convenience store. And since the construction of that gas station and convenience store, the property has sat idle. If we could go to the next slide. And this slide depicts the existing local retail commercial land use that is on the site. And if we can go to the next slide. And this slide depicts the proposed mixed use low land use. And the next slide, please. And we are looking to rezone the property. Again, it's currently zoned PCD, planned commercial development, and again was approved for 120,000 square feet of commercial space. And the proposed zoning that we would be looking at is SMU, suburban mixed use. Next slide, please. And that's showing the zoning in place, the planned commercial development district. And the next slide, please. And that is showing the proposed SMU zoning district for the site. In conclusion, staff is recommending approval of the land use amendment and rezoning to suburban mixed use to help facilitate the development of the property, as it is pretty much unlikely that it will be developed as 120,000 square foot of retail in the current economic climate as well as the future economic climate. Based upon all the inquiries that staff has received on the property over the last few years, all interested parties appear to be looking for residential development of the site as opposed to the approved 120,000 square foot strip center. So as such, staff does recommend approval of this request, and I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Ed.
Mm-hmm.
My quick question is so that if we change it to suburban mixed use, does that mean they can have 6-story apartment complexes next to the golf course?
They would be allowed on the perimeter of the site up to 55 feet in height. However, as the golf course is zoned single family in the county, it would only be approved with a setback 3 times the width of the height. In other words, let's just say they proposed 50-foot tall buildings at the perimeter of the site abutting the single family residential. Those buildings would need to set back 150 feet from the property line.
Okay. And so I'm against this one, mainly because we don't know what's going to happen if we approve it to mixed use. Not saying that I won't approve it in the next year that I'm here as mayor. However, I'd like to see a site plan associated with it, not giving the property owner free rein to design something that they're capable of doing, but is not in the best interest of our community and our neighbors. And so in order for me to approve something like this, I would need to see a site plan with it. And I'll ask the commission if they have any other comments. And then I'll ask the
Mayor.
public. Yes.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm generally inclined to agree with you in this one. It seems generally incompatible with the surrounding areas, and I think this may be a premature step until we do know more, as you mentioned, with a site plan. And for that reason, and I personally can't imagine having those tall buildings surrounded by these single-family homes. It's not in their best interest. I can't support this today.
Mayor,
Yes.
perhaps I missed it, but can staff quickly elaborate on why they felt that they needed to make this change?
If I may, staff was tasked with looking at potential development projects throughout the city and trying to put a land use and zoning on them that would make them ready for development. Again, this property has sat idle since 1996. As we know, I think you would likely agree with me. I don't think anyone foresees a large strip center being constructed on that site. The most appropriate zoning district, based on the work that's been done in the Congress Avenue corridor study and what has been proposed for the mall and what has been developed at Renaissance Commons and Boynton Village and Town Center, would seem to, I don't want to say dictate, but seem to indicate that the most appropriate type of zoning for that property would be the suburban mixed use. Again, given that charge of trying to make properties development ready, staff chose this as the first site to try and do that with. If that is not the wishes of the city commission, we certainly can stop it at this point in time. Again, we're looking to facilitate the development of a long vacant parcel, but if that's not the wishes of the commission, that is fine with staff.
Mayor, if I may.
So, Ed, I forgot. I'm glad I remember this question. I saw that the property use code is agricultural classification. Do we have any other agricultural classifications in the city of Boynton Beach besides this property?
Actually, it's not our classification that you're reading from. It's how the Palm Beach County property appraiser classifies it, because I believe it is used for, I believe there are some cows on the property currently, and therefore they can attain that designation through the county. We do not have a zoning district that would reflect that.
Okay. And so is this technically the last farm in the city of Boynton Beach?
Technically, I believe it is.
All right.
Unless you want to count a mango farm or something of that, a mango grove as something of that nature, then yes, I would say it is.
Okay. And that's another reason for us not to reclassify it without knowing what's going to go there. And so if the commission has no further comments, I'll open it up for the public. If we have a couple of people of the audience, Commissioner Ramos, if you want to wait.
Sure.
I need to be sworn in.
Jim, do you mind swearing him in?
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this proceeding will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do. Thank you. My name is Jason Mankoff. I'm an attorney with Sicklin Lubitz, 1515 Flagler Drive in West Palm Beach. I'm here tonight on behalf of Quail Ridge Country Club. And we certainly appreciate the thoughts that the commission has shown a little bit tonight. And I did want to first say I certainly also appreciate the assistance I've gotten from Mr. Breeze. I was away last week. This came up very quickly. He was very quick to get me the documentation. We were able to review it. Obviously, the hearing was today, Tuesday. I didn't get the chance back into town and review it till yesterday. He was very quick to get back to me. We've had some discussions, and I certainly appreciate that. So I wanted to thank you for that, Mr. Breeze. Quail Ridge Country Club does have an interest in the property as well. We think that there's some opportunities of things that we could do that might be better. And, I don't want to get into all those specifics now, but I'll be happy to talk to Mr. Breeze and the city and anyone else about that at another time. But the reason we were here, and Mr. Bill Langley is also here, he's the CEO of Quail Ridge. And you know what? I'd just be amiss to say, I haven't been to City Hall, this new one, and I used to be years ago in the old one, and it's really a tremendous facility you guys have built here, and certainly look forward to the kinetic show and the concert and checking it out. So just wanted to mention that. But I appreciate, the staff recognizing in their staff report, which I'm sure you've had a chance to read, the special call outs, and as the commission has indicated tonight, to Quail Ridge. There are 2 references in the staff report on page 5 where it says any potential negative impacts of incompatibility between the potential height and bulk of multifamily buildings and the single family homes, particularly those in Quail Ridge Country Club, will be specifically mitigated through the master plan's design feature. And then on page 6, where it goes on, the future master plan will require features designed to mitigate any potential negative impacts of the project's height and scale on the adjacent low-rise residential properties. But we do share the same concerns that you seem to share, which is no one knows what's really going to come there, and we would certainly like to have an opportunity to do that. I understand the condition can't be placed necessarily in the rezoning and the land use, that this would be subject to that. Also, there's section D.2 of the SMU zoning, which is the height setback envelope, which Mr. Breeze indicated. If the building was 55 feet, the setback would be 3 times that, 165 feet. We would like that to be a condition if something was ever passed as well, because we don't want someone to walk into this, not be aware of it, and then try to bypass it, because it's very important that there were some discussions whether or not it's applicable, because Quail Ridge is in the county, unincorporated Palm Beach County, not in the city of Boynton Beach. So I did get, and Mr. Breeze can probably confirm this, we had a discussion where I believe he did indicate that the city would apply the same regulations to the county property that they would to any city property, but we would want to make sure that any potential buyers or developers would be aware of that, so they were on notice of it and there wouldn't be any surprises. That's really all I want to say. The good planning doesn't really depend upon the municipality. We certainly appreciate that we're being treated it seems as if we were in the city, and I think that's really important because that's what planning's about. We seem to have the same feelings that you do, that it seems a little premature at this point to do the rezoning without knowing what's really going to do there. We have some thoughts of things that maybe Quail Ridge could do with the property that might be beneficial to the city as well as the Quail Ridge. So thank you for your time tonight, and certainly I'm here to answer any questions you may have. Also, Mr. Langley, who's the CEO, if you have any questions for him, he'd be happy to speak as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. My quick question is Quail Ridge in favor of the rezoning now or at a future date?
Well, it's hard to say we're in favor of it because we don't really know what's going on. We are in favor of, if it was to be passed, there would be clarification that certainly that triple setback would be part of it somehow, so any potential buyer would be aware of that and that they'd be on notice so there weren't any surprises. But we would prefer, obviously at this point, for there to be no rezoning approved today or a land use change because we think it's premature.
Okay. Thank you.
Mayor, if I may.
Yes.
I will gladly go on record for the attorney and basically say that, yes, I had discussions with our legal department and that the 3 times the height setback would be in place for any future development. So that is on the record for his benefit.
Thank you, Mr. Breeze.
Mayor?
Yes.
Question for the speaker. You mentioned multiple times that you have some ideas for the property. This is a privately owned piece of property. Have you spoken to the owner of the parcel with regards to your ideas? Because as a city, I'd be reluctant as an elected official to try to incorporate a third party's ideas into mandates on a private property parcel. So when you say you have some ideas, are you intending to purchase this?
We would like to have, we would like to certainly have the opportunity to purchase it. I'm not asking the city to do anything right now about the property. I'm just letting you know that we would like to purchase it, and we think we have some, ideas and things that we could do with the property that might be a little bit more compatible than what's being, I guess nothing's really being suggested, but what is potentially would be allowed with this rezoning and this land use change. Okay, I'll let you speak. Mr. Langley can just on the record.
Just state your name and address for the record.
My name is William E. Langley, and my address is 11976 North Lake Drive, Boynton Beach, Florida. So we have spoken with the owner just recently through a real estate agent, and we've begun some dialogue. Quite candidly, the current pricing is not attractive enough for us to be an interested purchaser, and I don't believe it's interesting enough for anybody to be a current purchaser. And until such time as there's a price improvement, it's not probably going to happen. But it's certainly something we're interested in. We've talked about a lot of different ideas of ways to enhance the property and also protect our perimeter. And so we will continue to have dialogue with the owner there, and we would look forward to working with the city as you move forward.
Thank you. And so we do need a motion so that we can vote in the affirmative or the negative. So does someone want to make that motion?
Mayor, just a reminder, the motion should be stated in the affirmative without regard to how either the maker or the seconder intends to vote.
Mayor?
Yes.
So just based on the comments, and I have no problem agreeing that ideally we would see a site plan. I don't know if the city can reach out to the property owner, or if you already have, but to tell them if they have any specific plans or suitors to fill us in, because if I think what I've heard from other elected officials, and I agree that before we see or hear of anything, it'd be difficult to rezone it. So I guess I don't know if it's to just vote this down, or is this like, I guess it's not tabled because we have nothing on the horizon.
Right.
So I guess at this time, I guess I'd make a motion to deny it.
We in the affirmative.
So
Can we just not vote? If there is no motion, then it dies.
I believe that's correct.
Yeah,
that's correct. If there's no motion and second, the item on the agenda will not move forward.
Okay. But I'd make no motion at this time.
Right,
but what would that property then remain as is, which is?
Yes.
Correct. Local retail, commercial.
LRC?
As a future land use, and PCD, planned commercial development, as the zoning.
Okay.
It has not changed its zoning from the county, and it maintains its agricultural designation. And as much, it's the last farm in Boynton Beach. And we do think, we have to keep mindful for our natural environment. And that's kind of where I'm at. And so the good news is that the city did most of the legwork for anyone who wants to redevelop the property. They would just really need to copy and paste what the city has already done to get the approval for suburban mixed use and low mixed use future land use. So if there's no further comments and there's no motion, we will move forward to the next item.
All right, that takes us to proposed ordinance 21009, an ordinance of the city of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending ordinance 8938 by amending the future land use element of the comprehensive plan for property commonly known as Ocean Palm Plaza and described area, and changing the land use designation from special high density residential to local retail commercial, providing for conflict severability and an effective date. And ordinance 21010, an ordinance of the city of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending ordinance 02013 to rezone a parcel of land described herein and commonly referred to as Ocean Palm Plaza from IPUD infill planned unit development to C3 community commercial, providing for conflict severability and an effective date. And why don't I just go ahead and ask anybody who intends to testify in this particular matter as to the rezoning, which is the quasi-judicial part of it, to swear or affirm that the testimony they're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. When you come to the microphone or however you...
There's no one else here, Jim.
Okay, all right. So whoever intends to speak by virtually or by phoning in, please, when you identify yourself, assure the commission that you've been sworn or taken the affirmation.
Thank you, Ed.
Yes, if we can bring up the PowerPoint again, thank you. Okay, we need to move it forward to there you go. Thank you very much. Okay. In this case, the city is initiating a reversion in the land use and zoning for Ocean Palm Plaza, formerly known as Yachtsmen's Plaza. If we could go to the next slide. Thank you. This aerial depicts the two halves of the plaza labeled as Site 1 and Site 2. To the east are single-family residential communities of Yachtsman's Cove and Coquina Cove. To the north is a multi-family Seaview Park Club. And further north is Benvenuto's. To the south is the Murano Bay residential development. Next slide, please. Currently, the future land use classification of the property is special high density residential, and the proposed classification is local retail commercial. In 2006, the land use and zoning were approved on this site for a 61 townhouse development. Much like the first case we heard tonight, about the time that got approved, the housing market collapsed and the project was never built, and the master plan for it is no longer valid. Next slide, please. This slide depicts the current land use on the property of special high density. Next slide, please. And this slide would show the proposed reversion of the future land use back to local retail commercial. And the next slide, please. And as part of the change, we're looking to rezone the property, again, reverting it from IPUD infill planned unit development to the proposed zoning of C3 community commercial. Next slide, please. And this slide depicts what I was just talking about, Site 1 and Site 2 with the existing zoning of IPUD infill planned unit development, and the following slide showing the reversion of the zoning back to its pre-2006 time of C3 community commercial. In conclusion, staff is recommending approval of the reversion of the future land use and zoning back to its pre-2006 designations. Since the townhouse plan approval is long expired, and to once again make the use of the property conforming from its current legally non-conforming status. And I'm more than happy to answer any questions you may have on this.
Thank you, Ed. And I guess my quick question is regarding the businesses that are currently there. Are all those going to be conforming businesses now?
They are basically, the shopping center itself is legally conforming. We are utilizing the C3 zoning district as what would be allowed in there currently. All those uses have been approved there under the C3 concept. So yes, they would all remain conforming, or they would go from, I guess if you want to consider it, legally non-conforming to conforming.
That was my question. Do we have any other questions from the commission? Seeing none, any questions from the public? Please raise your hand or ask a question. Oh, I got one from Mark Meyer. I'm unmuting your microphone now. It states you're self-muted if you'd unmute your microphone.
Hey, good evening, commissioners and Mayor Grant. I have been sworn in. My name is Mark Meyer. I reside at 633 Ocean Inlet Drive in Boynton Beach. I'm located in Coquina Cove, just directly adjacent to the parcel of the plaza on the southeast property line. I have some concerns regarding the staff report for this agenda item. Unfortunately, it doesn't address some of the items that are addressed in some of the items or agenda items 8A and 8B, which are similar. It doesn't address Goal 1 and Policy 1.3.2 of the future land use element. As a disclaimer, I am a land use planner for Palm Beach County. I'm in no way representing the opinions of Palm Beach County. I'm simply here as a resident and a concerned citizen. There's been several members of our community that are concerned, and I don't know that the property owner was informed until I had contacted the property manager last week, and we had received our property notices last week. So I asked that we either table this item so that way staff can further discuss the implications of this rezoning from a residential a dense residential property into an intense commercial property with residents and the property owner. I'm happy to address any of the commissioners if they have any questions. I know that there's a long history with this site, and there's a lot of residents that are concerned that it'll go back to how the plaza used to be. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And so Ed, there's different allowed uses regarding a C1, C2, C3, or C4, is that correct?
That is correct.
And so the reason the city chose the C3 is because that's what the site was before.
Correct. We'd be looking to revert it back to what it was before. Many municipal codes have an automatic reversion once the master plan associated with the land use and rezoning expires, and it automatically reverts back. We do not have that provision in our code. We have let this go as noted since 2006. Again, leaving it as a legal non-conforming type of operation on the property. one of the neighbors in the community behind this development questioned why we would do that and asked if we would consider reverting it, which is what you have before you here this evening. Staff, again, since this has occurred since 2006, has had no problem leaving it in its current legally non-conforming status. Again, allowing uses that are allowed in C3 on this parcel. And again, if a use is not allowed under C3, it would not be allowed currently. If a use is permitted as a conditional use, it would need to go through the conditional use process, which would take the commission action to approve the use, add conditions of approval if necessary in their minds to allow a use on this property. So again, staff is simply looking to revert it back to what it was prior to the approval of 61 townhomes on the property.
And part of the CRA plan is to put it as mixed use low in MU1. Would that also make the property still legally non-conforming?
If it moved to MU1, yes, that would make the current use of the property non-conforming.
Okay. And if we
And again, and that is why staff did not recommend that we move towards what the ultimate concept for that stretch of federal highway is. We do believe at some point in the future, it's going to be cost prohibitive to keep a commercial development on this property, and they will seek a mixed use low zoning of the property, and we'll probably either see a straight residential development or a mixed use concept that has a minimal amount of commercial associated with it. But at the present time, that does not seem to be the market for it.
And would a C2 zoning also make the property non-conforming or any of the businesses non-conforming?
It is liable to make some of the businesses non-conforming. Also, a change to C2 may be viewed as a down zoning of the property, a potential taking of the property, and put the city in a position it may not wish to be in.
Okay. And that's kind of where we know that it's not meant for special high density residential, and that this is what the zoning was prior to the 2006 rezoning. And that's why it makes sense to put it back, because it is an operating commercial strip mall with businesses coming in and out.
If I may, Mayor,
Yes.
Staff fully understands the concerns that the residents have. And again, we can't provide any real assurances, but what we can say is those uses that they seem to have the most concern over are typically conditional uses, which would take action on the part of the city commission. And again, because they're not allowed by right, the commission has the ability to condition its approval. And the neighbors would be notified of any of those type of applications coming before the city commission.
Thank you.
Hey, Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Hay.
You know, this particular piece of property has been a thorn in the side for years in terms of many phone calls I recently got and before now. On what Mr. Myers was talking about, Mark Myers, was there, can Ed, can you give some explanation on the late arrival of the information that he's talking about? Can you shed some light on that in terms of the community not getting that on time and being able to have some input on what the impact would be?
Certainly. The mail outs and the sign postings were done in accordance with city ordinances. The shopping center owner himself was notified with a 30-day advance notice, not just the 10-day that's provided to the neighborhood. We have the return receipt back from the mailing that was done to the property owner. So we believe the property owner or the holding company or whatever may be the ownership of this property was indeed notified. They were notified twice, with the 30-day and again with the 10-day. And the 30-day had to return receipt with it.
That's it.
You're welcome.
Mayor?
Yes, Commissioner Katz.
Yeah, I'd personally like to move forward with this. I think in all the years we've been up here, I don't recall, I'm sure we might have done one, but these reversions and the reference to the fact that some other cities have automatic reversions, because it just seems like it makes sense that if you request specific use and zoning and then you don't follow through and it's 10 or 20 years later, that if it was for a specific project, it should maybe go back to what it was. So I'm in favor of these types of moves because it sets in place what it was supposed to be before someone had an idea that never materialized, and it's been 10 years or 20 years. So, I'll be in favor of moving forward with this. I don't see a need to wait any longer.
Thank you.
In addition, they would have to come back before this commission to say yay or nay. So I'm in favor of this also.
All right. And I do understand we do have concerns and questions from the public. There will be a second reading. And so if they have the specific questions to send to us so that we can better understand what are their concerns, and hopefully we can alleviate those concerns in the future. And if there's no further comments, may I have a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Seeing no further discussion from the commission, may I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Grant,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Pensurga,
Yes.
Commissioner Katz,
Yes.
Commissioner Hay,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos.
Aye.
The vote's 5-0.
Mayor.
Thank you. Yes, Commissioner Katz.
A quick question for staff, if I could, and I guess it might just be more appropriate in the future to put it as a future agenda item at some point. That piqued my interest, the idea of the ordinance that has the automatic reversion, because then we don't have to, it doesn't have to come back to us. It's just if that's the tendency of a given commission to think that's a more prudent way to move forward, is that something staff could explain or cite at a future meeting if the board wishes to elaborate on what those other municipalities do and how long? Is it 5 years after approval or expiration of their timeline? I would like to know more, I guess, in a future meeting, if the rest of the commission would entertain that as a future agenda item.
Commissioner Katz, would you like to discuss it when we hit future agenda items?
Sure.
All right, thank you. So we have a tabling of until our second meeting for this month regarding Ordinance 21-004. And then we have a request from our attorney regarding another closed door session.
Mayor, if I may,
Yes.
did you do votes on both ordinances for item C, the land
No.
use and the zoning?
No, we did not. Thank you, Ed, for the catch. So let's
You're
get
welcome.
a motion to approve ordinance number 21-010.
So moved.
Second.
May I have a roll call, please?
Vice Mayor Pancirga,
Yes.
Commissioner Katz,
Yes.
Commissioner Hay,
Aye.
Commissioner Ramos,
Aye.
Mayor Grant,
Yes.
votes 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ed. Our next item is 12B.
Thank you, Mayor. This is a request for another closed-door session in the JKM VTS Capital LLC lawsuit, which is the deck action that is pending regarding the construction of the private components of the Town Square project. I need about an hour of your time. We have conducted discovery, so there will be significant issues to discuss with you in the closed-door session. I'm recommending either before, during, or after the next regular city commission meeting.
And Jim, is it better that we do it? So when was discovery received by your office?
It was received yesterday afternoon, late in the day. There are still documents that have not been posted to a site that we could pull and review them. So we need a little bit of time to review them. But when I do get the document link, and I do have the response to interrogatories, I do intend to send them on to the members of the commission so that you have an opportunity to see them before the closed door session.
Okay. So then how many documents are we talking about?
Probably several hundred.
And so I'll ask the commission, do we want to do it at the next meeting or do we want to do it at the first meeting in April?
Mayor, I'd rather do it the first meeting in April. It is spring break week and I'll be out of town with my family. So if that could be understood, I would appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I'm okay with that before the meeting. And so do we have anyone else from the commission that approves at our first meeting in April?
I'm fine with that.
All right, thank you.
So am I.
Okay.
All right, Jim, we'll have it at 4:30.
Thank you. That'd be great. And then, of course, I will send you on the information, and anybody that wants to talk about it privately with myself, the city manager, Andrew Mack, whoever else on staff has information regarding the responses. We'll be happy to meet with you in advance or talk to you in advance.
And so my question is that what is confidential, if anything?
Well, the only thing that's confidential, because the documents are filed with the court, will be our analysis and opinions regarding those documents and the strategy for responding to or referring to them in the pending litigation.
Right. And I guess also I'll request for the commission, if you have any case law, if you could send us that as well, which would be confidential.
Certainly.
It's 4:30, good timing for you. That gives us, with giving the commission a break in between that and the commission meeting, just food for thought.
Start at 4:15, so we have 10 minutes between.
Little.
Commission, is 4:15 or 4:30?
Good with me.
Yes, 4:15.
All right. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, Commissioner Katz, you mentioned discussion of an ordinance for automatic reversion, similar to other municipalities. I'm also in favor of that. I don't know if it would work with the city initiated ones, but definitely for private initiated developments.
We are working on that now, Mayor, so we would be happy to bring something back. Perhaps without speaking to staff, I don't want to say too soon, but perhaps April. I know we're looking at a few cities that we have some good ideas on how to move forward.
Excellent. And there's one last thing. I got an email from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development stating that the city's going to get $573,979 for community development block grants. However, there are 4 programs that we did not receive any money. Recover Housing Program, Home Investment Partnerships, Housing Opportunities with Persons with AIDS, Emergency Solutions Grant. In addition, there is over $2.8 million available in Section 108 Borrowing Authority. I can forward you the email, Lori, and have our community development liaison, Ms. Brooks, to see what we can do and work with the CRA so that we can maximize the federal dollars with what we're doing here in the city.
Absolutely.
And that's it for me. All right. If there's no further comments from the commission, John, I'll ask for the closing.
Yes, Mayor Grant. As a reminder, a recorded version of this session will be posted to the City of Boynton Beach's YouTube channel. Links to that channel are available on the City of Boynton Beach's website at boynton-beach.org. This concludes today's meeting. On behalf of Mayor Grant and all of our elected officials, the city manager and city staff, thank you for attending today's City of Boynton Beach Commission meeting. Be safe and have a great evening.
Thank you. All right. Good night, everyone. Motion to adjourn.
Good
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
So moved.